Hello and welcome to the very first Mindful Caregiver Breathing Circle. I am so thankful to be holding space for anybody tuning in, whether you're tuning in live for today's session or you're checking out the replay. I am honored to be leading you inward today, and I want to take a moment to extend some gratitude from my heart to yours. Because in signing up for this session and signing up for this breathing circle, you are cultivating a space and carving out time to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. And as caregivers, it should never go too long where you're not taking care of yourself. And oftentimes, if you're really focusing on your energy and your focus going toward other people and caring for them and making sure that they are supported, it's very easy to allow your own self-care to slip through the cracks. So I want to take a moment to honor you and let you know that I appreciate your time and your focus and your energy and your presence today. My name is Sabrina. I am a mindfulness teacher, a meditation instructor, and an intuitive healer. And what all of that means is I am privileged to have the skills and the knowledge and the tools to lead you inward, to help you sit with yourself, to help you possibly reduce a little bit of stress, but most importantly, to come home to your mind and your body. Each caregiver breathing circle will be a complete session in its own, meaning that there's no catching up to do, and each one is unique and delivers a lesson that can stand by itself. It doesn't need to be connected to a previous lesson, or you don't have to come on in for the next one, but you are always welcome to keep coming back. Each of these sessions will be recorded and later uploaded to YouTube so that you can watch it again and again at your own convenience. Or you can kind of go back to these specific talks that we have in these sessions or these specific practices that we experience, and maybe they can bring you a little more grounding in your life, and maybe they can center you a little bit on your own time. So before we get started, I just want to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what you can expect from these sessions. So each session, and we're about to start it, but each session will start with an intention setting and just grounding into the body. Because as we're coming on to here, we are transitioning from one part of our day to this part of our day. And this part of our day, I want to welcome you to just be. I want to welcome you to be with yourself. And oftentimes we're doing a lot of things, even if it's thinking. Thinking is definitely a form of doing, even if it's not taking concrete action outside of yourself. So that intention setting is a moment to pause and come home to yourself and to set an intention for this session, to be with yourself and to be with whatever comes up for you. And that will lead us into the second part of this session, which will be a dharma talk. And a dharma talk is when I share with you a passage from a book or a quote that really touched me. And from there, I extract a little bit of wisdom from not just my personal experience, but from mindful lessons within that passage or that quote. And that will ultimately take us to the practice, which we will be ending our session with. So this will be about 30 to 40 minutes. And the goal is to help you be with yourself. One thing I like to tell my students before leading a meditation is, come as you are, the conditions are perfect, or you are enough. Because oftentimes people think that if they've never meditated before, then they have to come here with a clear mind. And the chances of you having a clear mind, especially if you are a caregiver, are pretty slim. There's a lot going on and you're needed in a lot of different places and for a lot of different people. And so there will constantly be a push and a pull from your mind. And what I want to offer you in this session and any future sessions is to remember that it is the nature of the mind to push and pull and to be focusing on something, to trying to be stimulated, trying to think about things all the time. That's in the nature of the mind. So rather than fighting the nature of the mind, I invite you to recognize that it will be happening and come to the breath again. Come back to the body. When your mind takes you away, when your thoughts sweep you away, when you're pulled into to-do lists and things that you should have gotten done, or maybe you're thinking ahead to next week, gently remind yourself that you've gotten away from the present moment and to come back. And that leads me into today's intention. So the intention that I created for this session is really revolving around the breath. And that's what this session is actually going to be a lot about. It's going to be a lot about the breath, because the breath brings us into the here and the now. The breath brings us into the present moment. So today's intention, or the affirmation that I extend to you and I offer for you to come back to for our practice later on in this session, is I choose to be present with my breath over and over again. So let's think about that for a moment. Let's start with I choose. I choose to be with my breath. It reaffirms the personal power that we have over responding to life circumstances. It reminds us that we have a choice. I choose. And I choose to be with the breath. And as we'll explore in just a moment, the breath is our anchor into the present moment, because it is always happening in the present moment. You can tune in right now when you are either inhaling, exhaling, or pausing in between. But this cycle is always going and it's always happening now. And that is a lot of the reason why meditation instructors and mindfulness teachers and yoga instructors always bring you back to the breath. It's in the here and now. It brings you back to the present moment. So I choose to be with the breath over and over again. I put over and over again in there to remind you that your mind will absolutely be pulling you in multiple directions. And the most important thing you can do is notice it and gently remind yourself to come on back to the present moment. And there will definitely be little bubbles of judgment coming to the surface when you've lost your focus or your attention slipped away or you've gone really far down a rabbit hole of thinking and planning and anticipating and worrying. I'm going to ask you to gently let go of that judgment and remind yourself it's not bettering you. It's not bringing you closer to that peaceful feeling that you'd like to feel. Judgment is making it a little harder to get there. So today's intention, today's affirmation is I choose to be with the breath over and over again, reminding you that you have a choice in the way that you respond to the world that's unfolding around you and within you. You have a choice, and the breath is a wonderful choice that's always waiting for you in the present moment. And it'll keep waiting for you no matter how distracted you get and no matter how pulled away from the here and now that you get. It's okay. So I extend extra compassion your way, especially if you're new to meditation and mindfulness is a very early on concept for you. I thank you again for being here and for keeping your mind and your heart open. So now I want to move on to the Dharma talk. And I want to share a quote with you that truly, I believe, wonderfully segues us into a discussion of the breath and of stillness. So this quote is by Sumi Laundin Kim, and it goes like this. In our times, it is radical to choose to sit still and be silent, to resist an identity of busyness, ceaseless motion, and noise, and to reclaim our sanity and humanity by coming home to ourselves. By coming home to ourselves. So let's come home to ourselves before we begin this Dharma talk. Wherever you are, just find a nice comfortable posture. To the best of your ability, you want to have your spine nice and tall, but you don't want to be too rigid. If it's comfortable for you, you can have your palms placed flat down on your lap, or you can have them upright and open. I like to keep them this way in a circle motion. This way it keeps my shoulders back and I'm not leaning forward too much, but whatever's comfortable for you. And I invite you to slowly close your eyes, but if that's not really available to you right now, then just lower your gaze to just about the tip of your nose. And we're not looking at anything in particular. We're just relaxing. Slowly relaxing our gaze. We're slowly shutting our eyes. And taking a moment to settle in to your seat, to your body, to the cushion or the chair beneath you. And just notice. Notice what comes up for you when you've chosen stillness. Notice what sensations are flowing about within your body. Notice the quality of your breath right now. Is it long and smooth? Is it short and choppy? Are you breathing out of your nose or out of your mouth? Do you feel it in your nostrils, in your chest, or in your stomach? And we're just noticing. We're noticing what the stillness is offering us right now. And in this stillness, maybe you notice, maybe you're pulled to be busy. Maybe it's not very comfortable to be still. Maybe it's not very comfortable to be with yourself, with your thoughts, with any uncomfortable feelings or sensations coming to the surface for you. I invite you to notice that too. Keeping your attention on the body. See if you can locate your heart. We're not taking our hands and moving them. We're only taking our attention and shifting it from wherever it is to the center of our chest and seeing if we can locate that feeling. And if you can't, That's all right. Just by you being able to hear this, your heart is doing everything it can to keep you alive and healthy. But we tune into the heartbeat, the rhythm in our chest, because it reminds us of the complexities of this body. It reminds us that we can still the muddy water if we still ourselves. We can calm the mind if we calm the body. Keeping your gaze low or your eyes closed. I want you to relax and just listen to me for the next few moments as I elaborate a little bit deeper on the quote that I shared with you. Busyness excuses us from having to be with ourselves. But stillness invites us to be with ourselves. But what's important to know is that it is only an invitation. Stillness can't be forced upon you, but it's always waiting for you. You must be willing to be still, to be here now. If being busy is something that you identify with, then know that that's okay. Know that that's a part of who you are and what you do. And there can be balance found in that. But it's also important to know that if you do identify with being busy, and it is part of who you are and what you do, then if you choose to be still, that sense of busyness may lurk around and ask you to choose it and demand your attention and push and pull you, remind you of your responsibilities, remind you of the to-do lists. And this goes back to remembering that the nature of the mind is to wander, is to think. So as you sit with yourself and as you feel whatever is showing up for you in your body and in your mind, and maybe even in your heart, if you choose to sit with what's coming up for you, you're also choosing to send love and kindness to that sense of busyness that's within you, because it's a part of you. But we can choose stillness over and over again. We can choose to come back to the breath over and over again. And it's in these moments, it's in these choices that we begin to cultivate inner peace and a life that can sustain that inner peace for you. And a simple remedy for a busy mind, for a mind that continues to pull you in a multitude of directions, is instead of being in the mind, to choose to be in the body, to take your focus and your attention off of your thoughts and into the physical sensations that are surfacing and that are showing up for you right now. Something like locating your heart, the beat of your heart in the center of your chest. Or maybe you can feel it pulsating on some other muscle in your body. but noticing the cycles and the movements of the heart and the breath. You can allow these rhythms to bring you back to the present moment, because the busy mind will ruminate or anticipate moments in time, but the breath can only be now. It is in the present moment that the breath is waiting for you to come home to yourself. And on that note, I'm going to gently guide you into our meditation now. At the end of this meditation, I'll sound a bell 3 times. And although the computer may not pick up the sounds as loud and as long as I'd like them to, I want you to do your best to listen for the bell to fade until you can't hear it anymore, and pour your energy into being present with that noise, so that it ensures that the practice that you've just sat through will continue with you and you can embody it for the rest of the day. Okay. So if you need to readjust at this time, I suggest finding a comfortable posture that you could sit in for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Your body should be nice and relaxed by now, but if it's not, remember the intention, the affirmation, the mantra of today's session is I choose to be with the breath. I choose to come back to the breath over and over again. So if you get lost in a sea of thoughts, your breath is waiting for you in the present moment, always. If you haven't yet closed your eyes, I invite you to do so. Or keeping that soft gaze. And we'll do a quick scan through your body. I won't name any particular regions. I'll just simply guide you. Guiding you into the muscles that you're clenching right now. Guiding you to notice any tension or tightness, tight muscles. Notice any ways that you might be holding on to tension specifically, maybe in your jaw, maybe in your fingertips. And invite the breath, the exhale in particular, to wash over all of the tension in your body and help you release it. We're not altering or changing the breath just yet. Just using the exhale as a reminder to release, as a reminder to let go. Let go of tension. Let go of holding. Let go of controlling this moment and choose to be with it. In a moment, I'll have you place your hands in specific spots to feel your breath move inside your body. This is meant to anchor you into the present moment. If at any point you'd rather have your hands to your side or it's making it a little harder to concentrate, then all I ask is before you transition or move in any way, take a deep breath and do so mindfully. If there is a discomfort that comes up for you, if you cannot sit through it, then move through it mindfully. Place your right hand on your belly, the lowest part, and your left hand on your chest, right in the center. And before altering your breathing in any way, just notice how it's already moving through you. Notice how you haven't had to think about the breath. There is an intelligence that is taking care of this for you. Feel the breath ebb and flow naturally through the body. With each cycle of breath, you are tuning into the cycles of nature. In and out. Give and receive. Allow, let go. Just as you use your exhale as a vehicle of release and muscle tension and tightness, you can use your exhale as a prompt to let go of anything you may be holding on to. Maybe it's some mental tabs that you need to close from the day. Maybe it's an emotion, something you haven't been able to shake. Maybe it's a thought or a memory playing on repeat. Every moment, there is another chance for you to tune into your exhale and let go and be lighter. On your next inhale, take a deep inhale, inviting all of the air to fill your belly up. And then slowly through your nose, if possible, releasing all of that air. Contracting your belly and starting the cycle all over again. Inhale, fill your belly, push it all the way out. Exhale, let it all go. And contract your belly in. Continue this breathing for the next few moments. And bring to mind anything you like to let go of. And trust that your exhale is taking care of what it can and is cleansing out of you what it needs to. And if at any point your mind begins to tug, ground yourself into the body. Feel the movement of the breath. Allow yourself to let go of the past, let go of the future, let go of thought, let go of doing, and just be here. Be with the breath. The wisdom of the breath reminds us that change is constant, and not just around us, but within us. Each moment, each breath, unique, different from the last. By choosing to pay attention to what is often seen as mundane, something as mundane as the breath, has profound wisdom to teach us how to allow and teach us how to release. And the more we release, the more space we cultivate to allow. When we let go of fear, we have more room for love and peace. When we let go of breath, more is on the way. By coming back to the breath, you come back to yourself. You come home to your body. And you choose again and again to notice and to be. You choose to watch the rise and the fall of breath, of life, of emotions. You choose to allow in what lifts you higher, what nourishes you. And you choose to release the heavier stuff, what keeps you down. And through this, you find balance. Before I ring the bell and bring this practice to a close, I invite you to connect with your heart center and the intention of today's practice, whether you set one of your own or you're using the one that I've offered. Take a moment to whisper it to yourself and to express gratitude for showing up today, for pouring intention into your life, and for pouring back into your cup so you can continue to serve, give, love, and offer to others. Take your time coming back to the room, coming back to your body, slowly opening your eyes whenever you're ready. And before moving on with your day, before moving on to thinking or doing or identifying with busyness once more, I want you to take a moment and take in the intention that you've laid for yourself today, that you've set for yourself today. Breathe it in, hold it close, and remind yourself, if you remember to keep coming back to the breath, that it's always waiting for you in the present moment, and that now is a perfect time to start. Thank you so much for checking out the Mindful Caregiver Breathing Circle. I hope to see you soon, to sit with you again, and I hope that we both share the practice of the breath once more. Sending love to your corner of the world. Have a great day.